In a world where Africans have lost their roots, it has become of vital importance to document our ways. In an effort to reverse the brainwashing of the past, where we were made to believe our ways are demonic, we are pressed to create dignified and respectful platforms to unpack our spiritual ways. Moya o light, Moya o bright. Welcome to another beautiful episode of Moya. Welcome to all the new members of this beautiful and growing community. Thank you for all your support always. The fact that we're growing is evidence of your love and your support. Please like, share, and subscribe. The bank details are on screen right now. The business model of this podcast is that you guys do the crowdfunding for us to be here and to be able to afford studio and things like that. And we're hoping that the bigger companies can also help with sponsorship so that we can actually start having a team, employing a team. You know, we need subtitles, we need researchers. There's so many things. We need a stylist, you know. I'm so tired of giving you my bad fashion. We would love a stylist. We would like makeup artists, you know. So an appeal to the bigger companies that there are sponsorship models available. And if you go to our website, all the packages are there. Kamalam gunontsikelelo wakwa Mazwai. So an interesting thing happened to me yesterday. Is as you know, I've started a new feature and segment, Moya Extra, where we just get on the ground and we film people and we find out their stories and what they're up to. We had one with Utemima Mseleku. That was our first episode. Please do check it out. But we're basically wanting to see how different kinds of Africans all over the world acknowledge their spirituality or how we come together as Africans. So as I was on that mission, I did find somebody, but his story was so good that I actually asked him to come into studio. He's written a book that he's here to tell us all about. Loyiso Bayi. Loyiso, thank you so much. Your book is called Bantu Holy Scriptures.
That is correct, yes.
And it's so impressive because I see you've got groups, you've got YouTube things. So this is your platform to tell us all about it.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. Now, the book is a way of me giving back the information that is coming to me that I've been given by my own guides or ancestors, whichever way you want to call it. Now, this is information that talks about the universe. It talks about the body. It talks about the science behind Isintu. Because a lot of people seem to think that Isintu is based on just believing that things will happen and then hoping that they will happen. But there's a science behind it. And that science is not as understood in the Western science research side. Because it approaches things differently. It approaches from an energy point, saying everything is energy, more than from a material point, looking at matter and saying how does matter behave. So then you look at things based on how energy behaves. So that is how Isintu is structured, and that is the best way to actually view a culture, because it's spiritual. So you look at it from a spiritual point of view.
So you're saying that as abantu abamnyama, it's not a belief system, you know, it's not something you believe in. It's based on nature and the natural sciences.
The cause and effect, if I can call it that.
Okay.
The cause and effect of nature. It is not something that is just made up. It is a manifestation of the natural laws of nature. That is what Isintu is. And because as Abantu, we work hand in hand with nature. Even our language is in line with the sounds of nature. So this is what the book describes the science. also the importance of the science is that we get to understand what we do and how we do it. Because once we get to understand how it happens, then we get to be able to find more acceptance from it. Because when people ask you, but what is the science behind this?
Yeah.
You are able to explain that, no, when you take salt, for instance, and you mix it with water, you are creating an electrolyte solution, you see. Now, an electrolyte is an energy solution. Now, when you sprinkle that around in any yard, you are sprinkling a layer of energy onto that space. So as a result, you are increasing the energy in that space. So this is a science. It's not just you sprinkle and hope it will work. So now when you sprinkle an energy solution, a layer of energy, the energy of that area rises, and as a result, anything that has lower energy is not able to come into that space, because if energy is too high, you will not be able to approach it, like a fire, for instance. A fire is energy, but it's too high. You cannot approach that. So this is how it feels to them, because the salt presents a high energy electrolyte.
Oh, wow.
You
So
see?
it repels it.
Yeah, so it repels imimoyemi, because imimoyemi is nothing more than energy that is lower than us, because each and every person that you see is actually a pocket of energy that is vibrating at a particular frequency. You see, if, for instance, you find yourself cold, you have that brrr effect. You are vibrating. That is what they mean when they say vibrating, because you have a charge. The vibration creates a charge in you, and then that charge is what is what you use when you perform, when you do anything. So the body itself it has an electric charge that it has in it, and
wow.
that is what it uses to perform. So your performance is based on the charge that you have. So when you eat, or when you do anything that you are interacting with energy, you are trying to increase your own charge, trying to increase your own energy space. So that is what the book explains. It explains the science behind Isintu, and it also allows people to understand themselves, because once you understand Isintu, you get to understand yourself, because part of what Isintu is a description of who you are, because ungumuntu. You understand?
What do you mean? Unpack that for us.
Okay. Eligama, for instance, lithi ungumuntu. It is not a word, just a word. It's something that describes your state of being, because each and every sound that you make is a force that you apply to the universe.
Oh.
So when you make a sound, you are creating a force, and each and every sound has a specific force that it applies to the universe. That is how you create using sound, for instance. So you know that when you make this sound, this is what you will create. So when you pray, for instance, that is what you are doing. You are creating sound and trying to influence the universe towards a particular outcome. You are saying things must happen in a particular manner, such that what you want, the outcome that you prefer, comes to be.
You're creating a spell.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us more about this energy. I mean, energy, obviously, Putloyi, so it's not something you can see.
Okay. In essence, everything that is around you and what you are is energy. But the difference is how much energy each thing has, and the level of energy that each thing has then dictates how quickly it vibrates. You see, so when something vibrates, then if it vibrates within a particular range. For instance, if you take a piece of string and you swirl it around, there's a point where you swirl it around where you don't see it. At that point, when you don't see it, it is outside of your range of vibration, because your body only sees a particular range And beyond that range, your body's not, your eyes are not able to see, because you do not have sufficient energy
Wow.
to be able to see that. So the minute you increase your energy, the minute you increase your charge, then you are able to then see more. So now, if you spin a particular piece of rod, for instance, eventually it disappears from your sight. It goes outside of your scope of sight. That means, it does not mean it's not there. It's still there, but you can't see it. So it tells you that there are other things that are outside of our own vibration
Shucks.
that actually we do not see, Tina. You see? And that is what we call imimoya midaga, or imimoya, because it is only spirit that we see. We only see air.
Yes.
Yes, so we call it umoya, we call it air, because we don't see it, but it is there nonetheless. So umoya, when you see air, it is not because there's nothing, it is simply because it is outside your scope of sight, so you are not able to see it.
So when they say good and bad coexist, it obviously speaks to this concept, but in this emptiness that we're seeing, ikona imimoya emdaka, ikona imimoya clean.
Yes.
So how does the body interact with what it's okay?
Okay, let me explain that concept. You see, when they talk about imimoya, they are talking about a vibration that is outside of your sight, because then you see air. So imimoya leyo, it's something that you can't see, but it is still something, because the fact that you cannot see that oscillating, that thing going round, does not mean it's not there. It just means that you can see it. So ibang moya, you cannot see it. And at a particular stage, if that thing spins fast enough, you are able to go past it. You understand?
Shucks.
Because then it becomes more absent in your own vibration. You understand?
Shucks. Mm-hmm.
So then you get to understand that kukhona eminye imimoya that vibrate at a different frequency to ours.
Yeah.
And as a result, because it is outside of our frequency range, then we don't see it.
Yeah.
Now, umoya omdaga would be something that vibrates at a frequency, or that has lower energy than you, or a lower charge than you. Then what does it do? It then takes charge from you, because you are a higher. That's how energy moves, from a point of higher concentration to a point of lower concentration. So if yes, it's like if you put hot water and cold water, the hot water is going to move into the cold water, and the cold water is going to move into the hot water. So it creates equilibrium. You see, so that's what then happens. So if something that has lower energy than you comes closer to you, it then draws your energy from you. You see, so when it draws your energy, you do not have sufficient energy to do what the body wants to do. And then you are termed sick, because what sickness is the inability for your body to do what it's supposed to do. So it does not have sufficient charge to do that. So kube khona ke ngoku those other beings that vibrate at a higher frequency, that when they come closer to you, then they increase your charge. They give you ziyakuphilisa. You understand? Now, sisibiza ke imimoya emihle leyo, or some would call angels, which whatever you want to call them, depending on at what level of vibration they're coming from. Because as much as we have this range of vibration, when there are also other different ranges of vibration. Because when you increase your charge, for instance, you only see this because you have this much charge. You can increase your charge and you can see more. In olden days, for instance, people would see ghosts. Those are people that had a higher charge because they could see something beyond this particular vibration that we can see. You see? Imimoya emibi ibe, it will be those that draw your energy. The imimoya emihle are those that give you energy. Depending now, your ancestors, for instance, because as a person, you are born at different frequencies. You have yourself, right? And then you have your aura, which is also a part of you, but a different frequency, a different frequency. So you don't see the aura, but not the aura only, but there'll be different levels. So your energy is concentrated on the densest part, which is this part, the body that we have now.
Yes.
Hence, we see it as dense as this. Now, it means your overall charge is at this particular, your overall charge is at this point, and your overall frequency or vibration is at a particular point because you have this much charge. Now, when you die, what then happens is you lose this particular part of you that vibrates at this particular frequency.
Yes.
And then the rest of you then keeps living on at a different frequency now. Because now, since the part that has had lower energy is gone, your overall frequency then changes. So you move to a different level of frequency. So I can't see you from then onwards. You are
But
now,
you're there.
But you are there. Those are the people that we speak to then when we do the rituals, etc., etc. You see, we are talking to those people because at that level they can see our spiritual side, which Tina we cannot see. So we are talking to them to protect our spiritual side, to be part of. That is what you mean by if you want your ancestors to protect you. You want those people to come and protect you at that particular level, at a spiritual level, where when you don't see. So that Lemi Moya maybe that come to you is not able to access you.
What is it, if they are there, ne, all along, why is it that you need to acknowledge them for them to actually work?
Okay. The acknowledgement, you see, understand that you have your body and you have your mind. Your mind is actually your higher self, right? Your higher self is sitting with other energies of higher vibration. These are the different voices that you hear in your head, giving you the different instructions or the different advice. It's because your mind at that point, some other people that have certain gifts are able to even see those head conversations to see, okay, I'm having a conversation in my head, but I can see who I'm speaking to. And you can differentiate. Any one of us, once they train themselves, once they understand what the brain actually is, then they're able to distinguish between those voices. Now the brain, the mind then is your higher self. It's sitting with others. So for you to be able to speak to them, you must be at their presence. So when you go to their presence, you must think about them, you must call them, you must talk to them. So that you vibrate at their presence, they also vibrate at your presence. It's like a way of bringing them closer to you, you see. So there's certain things that you have to do for them to be able to, because they do not respond that well to everything that we see here, that we have here. So we have to do certain things to be able to call them so that they can see you. Yeah.
Oh,
You see.
like a network.
Yes. So those are some of the things that the rituals that we do. If for instance, you dream somebody saying, requesting you to make alcohol. Sometimes you do those rituals because they see something spiritual in you that is not correct, and then they ask you to make some brew and to make the alcohol. So when you make the alcohol, you talk to the alcohol, you put your energy in it, and they put their energy in it, and then when you drink it, it heals you. That's what some of the rituals would be. So it's not a question of people just doing things because the ancestor says. It is talking to your elder that sees something that you don't see, telling you this and this and this. Of course, this is also prone to corruption, because if you vibrate, if your mindset is shifts to a different space, you then get influenced by other things. For instance, if you lower your energy, then your mind moves away from the vibration of where your ancestors are into a lower vibration, which has or energy that is of lower charge. So that energy then starts to influence your mind. And then you hear voices in your head and they tell you that you have depression, that you have a mental illness, where in actual fact, your charge has reduced to a point where your mind is now sitting in a space that is not that is of lower energy. And hence all the beings of lower energy will always have destructive thoughts, because they're speaking from a position of fear. Energy, as you get more energy, you get more knowledge of your environment, which allows you to react better to your environment.
So then how do we charge our bodies?
When you eat, you are attempting to charge your body. But what we don't understand is that energy comes in different forms. We view energy in three forms. We view energy, the densest energy is solid. And the less dense energy is liquid, and the least dense becomes gas. You see that in a block of ice. When you boil a block of ice, it starts off as solid, then it becomes liquid. As you give it thermal energy, then it becomes gas, and then you can be able to see it. So in the book we define the different levels of energy, and for a person to then understand how things happen the way they happen. You understand? So as you define, as you are looking, the densest thing that you see becomes solid. So anything that is at a particular level of frequency, at a higher level of frequency, will be less dense, and until it becomes air, then you are not able to see it. So those are the different levels of energy. So when you feed your body, you can then feed your body based on the solid food, the liquid, or the air. For instance, when you run, you would run for say 10 meters, and then when you replenish your body, you don't want food. You start breathing. So the air is your primary source of energy, not the food that you eat. It is the highest energy source. So that is how you get your energy. When you meditate, what do? You breathe in deep. You breathe deeply to let the air into your brain. So you have deeper breaths that you take. So that then changes. It gives your brain or your mind more energy to be able to act. So air is your primary source of energy. That's why you cannot live without air for a couple of minutes, but you can live without food for 7. You can run even if you are hungry. You see. So to replenish your energy, that the air that you breathe is. But there's also other ways to replenish your energy, because when you cleanse your body, you remove impurities that drain the energy from the body. You understand? So once you remove that, then it allows the body to have more energy to do other things and cleanse itself more. You see, this is why when you fast, the body is able to repair itself, because you are using a higher form of energy. You see, there are various things that we do. For instance, when we sing and clap, Moya, that is replenishing your energy. Now, what even death is because of the energy that we use to sustain ourselves. Because the only reason that your body deteriorates is because the energy that you give your body and the energy that you take out it does not match. You give the body this 30% energy and takes the 70% out. So as a result, slowly you are depleting the body, because the food that you eat requires you to process it. It requires so many things to be done, so that drains your energy. Now, once you use a different source of energy, like a liquid source of energy, there's less processing. So as a result, you get more energy. So when you use air as a source of energy, then you are able to even replenish your body even more. That's what fasting is about. But what people don't realize is that you can even do other things, like you can sing the things that they do in church, for instance. They also raise your energy. There's a point where you can raise your energy where you can be able to see beyond what other people see, because you have increased your charge to a particular point. But that is the whole point of religion, for instance. It is to increase your charge so that you can be able to get to a particular point of charge, and you are able to see other things. You are able to to be in the land of your forefathers, for instance, to see your ancestors, if you raise your energy to a particular point. Death is not something that is normal. It's something that we bring to ourselves because of our own way of life. This is why, for instance, people that eat food that is fresher live longer, because the food still has more energy. You see?
Yes.
The food still has more energy. If you eat food that comes from the ground, it has more energy. And if you eat it fresh, it still has its aura in it. So you get that energy with it. So you live longer. Why? Because there's more energy in it. Now imagine that the energy that you had even made you even live longer. The food that you eat made you even live longer and longer and longer. I mean, to a point where you reverse the aging process simply by changing your source of energy. You understand? Now, when we use unnatural food, that's when we drain our energy. That's when we utilize too much energy in our bodies, and that's when the sicknesses come, because now your sickness is simply a loss of energy by the body. You do not have sufficient energy to carry out all the tasks that a normal person would do. So that means then you are sick. So what you then need to do is to charge the body, give the body some energy. To charge the body, start by cleansing the body, removing all the impurities to allow more energy in it. Then you will heal any illness.
Why did you write this book?
Okay. For me to receive information, information must flow. You see, people must know how their body works, because then if the higher your spirituality, the more pleasant you become.
Yes.
If you look at everyone
Yes.
that is supposed to have been a spiritual person, they all preach peace, they all preach that. It is because they are less fearful.
Yes.
Because having less of a charge creates fear in people, because you have less information about your environment. The charge carries the information. Like, for instance, if you get into a dark room, if something touches you, you are quick to fight.
Yes.
But if you get light, you are able to say, okay, you have a different reaction. It's a less violent reaction.
Yes.
You see. So writing the book is me allowing the information to flow to the people that need the information, for them to be able to also utilize the book to raise their own vibration. For us, if we all raise our own vibration, then we get to the overall vibration that we have gets higher, and it becomes a more pleasant community. But it becomes people are more awake. There's less suffering, because if you understand that food is simply one way you can energize yourself, then you realize that when you eat 3 times a day, it's just merely an addiction.
Yes.
You see, it is not about the food itself.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to see natural behavior, look at a child. A child will only come to you when he's hungry and say, I want food. But because we have been trained, we train the child as well to say, eat 3 times a day. The reason I wrote the book is because a lot of people, for instance, would be in mental institutions because they are not understood. You see, they see people, they see their behavior as a sign of illness, when in actual fact it's a sign of superiority. It's a sign of being able to see things that other people don't see. But you need proper training, you need proper guidance for you to be able to utilize all that, for you to be able to assist people with that. You see, so all that is creates a more harmonious environment. I have children. My children, I don't want my children to inherit this culture of service to self, because Isintu is a service to others.
Yes.
It is not you see, this is why you cannot compare the two cultures, Western culture and Isintu, because Isintu is a different culture. It comes from a service to others. That's why it says Isiso somahambi asingakanani. If a stranger passes by, you must give that stranger some food.
Yeah.
But that comes from it's an automatic behavior of a person who has a higher level of charge. You understand? This is why now our Ubuntu has been depleted, because our charge has been depleted. So now we need to bring back Ubuntu. Abantwana bethu must not inherit a society that is broken.
Yeah.
When we can heal it. People are dying of diseases that are curable, simply because they've been told that a certain sector has monopoly on the truth. But most importantly, Ubuntu is us. We cannot allow other people to define us. We need to define ourselves and show people this is who we are. And we are not Africans because we had a name before somebody called this Africa. What was that name before that?
Yes.
Sasingabantu. Why does that name change now? Because somebody came with a different language. And in a language that is not as pure as ours in any event. You see? So we need to be able to define ourselves so that people understand that what we do is not really we are not just doing things because we are uncultured or because we are uneducated. We have an education system that is so advanced because a child learns from home. The child learns so many different. It's difficult to touch on so many topics because the book actually explains the science behind everything and allows you to interpret the world yourself, to interpret certain things and get to understand which is true, which is not true.
Well, I'm definitely going to put your details in the description so that people can call you directly. So I saw you gave us a bit of on the air energy and how we can use air energy. I see there's also a chapter on water and liquid energy. Do you want to give us?
Okay.
Yeah.
The energy, because the denseness also means something is not the energy is lower. So the denser the food that you eat, the lower the energy, the lower the charge it has. So if you eat food that is artificial, for instance, that is even denser than the natural dense food. So that food does not have sufficient energy because any food that is not natural does not allow sufficient flow of energy within it. So when the energy flows, that's when the actual being gets charged. So a natural fruit would have a much higher charge than just an artificial food. So there's various levels of food. So if you, for instance, you take your food and you juice it. I mean, we were told that we must not boil our veggies because all the nutrients go with the water. So throw away the pulp and then drink the water because that's where the nutrients are. That is what they mean.
Interesting.
Yes. Because now you have removed, you have created a different electrolyte from the minerals of that, and now you drink that. So this is now, you prevented the body from using too much energy in terms of trying to get rid of the pulp because it's easier to get rid of the liquid. So by juicing your fruit, for instance, you are now you are using liquid energy rather than solid energy.
Yes.
You see. So and each energy source has its own level of charge. So, for instance, food that is solid food has a lot of energy, but the charge is not as much. So it requires you to boil it to remove the nutrients and be able to drink that. Liquid food, for a fruit, for instance, already is charged because it's liquid. It's of a higher vibration, so it's charged. So you drink the liquid. You don't have to cook it. You see, so the higher, the denser something becomes, the more charge it has, and as a result, what you choose to eat will then depend on the level of charge that something has.
Sure.
You see.
Then, because you say this book is a Bible, ne? And I'm
Yes.
seeing that there's a chapter on like language and media and fashion. What were you talking about there?
Okay. Now, we must understand that as a person, you view the world. your mind is your higher self, like I explained. Now your mind is connected to your body through your brain, your nervous system, and that includes your eyes. You see, so what your eyes see is what your higher self sees. So when you view something, you're actually influencing your higher self because it looks at that as the reality that it sees. So when everybody looks at a particular event, they have a particular emotion. So that emotion is carried countrywide. So it's now a single emotion, and that emotion is an influence on the universe.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Now,
Abo stronger together.
yes, because now we're all watching the same thing. We all have the same emotion. We then get influence. So when we talk about media, we're talking about something that influences behavior. It
Yes.
influences you spiritually. It does not just influences you. I mean, you find that a child, before the child even goes to crash, already can speak English just from watching television. You see, but what else does the child pick up from that? Because the child just learned the language from. There's a lot of children that my child also did that. She learned English from the television with that accent of those cartoons. So what we see actually influences our behavior.
Yes.
So when we talk about fashion, we must be careful, because, for instance, if you understood what love is, you then understand how destructive media can be. When somebody says they are ne? They are witnessing purity in you, and that their higher self wants to vibrate closer to that. That is the feeling that you get. It's a feeling that you want to be closer to something that you can see increases your vibration, because a child, for instance, a baby, is still pure. So the child's vibration is still pure. So your purer self sees that and wants to and gets attracted to. That's why you love a child. But because this is based on the child herself or himself, it does not change, because it's based on the behavior of the child. You see the child and you see love. A child will not love you when they're still young. They're just a child. They are pure. So because for you to actually love someone, you must have strayed away from your pure self and recognized it in somebody else. And then you love that person. You want to vibrate. You want to be closer to that person. That's what we feel. That is what the pure love is. Hence, you will love as we grow. For instance, as we grow, our true self then changes. We create character, what you call character, because our purity is now anything that brings fear to us changes our purity, because we need to deal with it in future so that it does not affect us the same way. So it changes your purity. You adapt yourself to that. So you create these layers of adaptation that create your character.
Yeah.
You see, and at a much older, with all those scars that and all those patches that you've put, you have this particular character. Now, what media does is that it tells you the definition of what is good, what is to look for. You see, so your mind interprets that to be a higher vibration and wants to be close to that. So because now you've trained yourself that for a person to be accepted, for a person to be of a higher standard, they must look this way, do this and that and that. When you see that in a person, you become attracted to that person.
Yes.
That is what the artificial love is. But then fashion changes. So the person changes. And as the person changes and you don't change, then you fall out of love, because it was artificial in any event. You see, sometimes as people grow, they then start to realize that, no, man, my character is a bit not what I've always been. Because for instance, when you see somebody that you've seen that knows you from a younger age, they know the true character, your true character. So you cannot pretend with them. you have a different character. You treat them differently, and you treat them with love because they know, you know their essence. They know your essence. You understand? Now, what media then does is it creates this artificial character and this character changes as fashion changes. So you love somebody because they have certain features that you've seen on television as that are supposed to be cool or supposed to be whatever that the media tells you to do. Hence, you find that people, when they change, people then is not the same. But what did you fall in love with? Because if the person changes, it is still the same person.
Yes.
You see, now what we see now is artificial love that requires. It says you must do this for me, whereas in natural love, when you look at a baby, you are not expecting anything in return. When you love the baby, that is natural love. It comes to you now because now this is artificial, and you've been told that this is the person that will provide. This is the person that will give you energy, that will provide for you. So now you fall in love with that particular character that has been created. And then when the character changes or when the fashion changes and you don't change with the fashion, then, for instance, when you reach when men reach around 40, they then realize that I'm living an artificial life. This is not natural. It's called the midlife crisis. And then it's frowned upon because the man starts to realize, but I'm not happy because the exact purpose of doing anything is to create happiness within you. It is to increase your vibration. You understand? So that is the distraction that media comes with. Media comes with the distraction of crippling a man's minds, for instance, because every time you have something in you, it will influence your behavior. You see, when you eat food, you start craving that food because now it's in you, so it influences your behavior to consider it. So when a man sees nakedness, there is a production of sperm. As the sperm accumulates, it creates an influence within the man. And when that influence then supersedes the brain at a particular point. You understand? It is not. You see, there is a point where once that happens, after all that is gone, the man is like, what did I do? You understand? Because he was not. It is not his natural character. It is an influenced character. Now, if you have all these men always looking at these naked pictures, their minds are influenced to always be thinking in a particular manner. And their focus is not then in building the home, in doing this, in doing that, because that is an influence on the mind itself. You see, it's a pity that when you get to understand that any person's behavior is simply based on the level of charge that they have and the level of insecurities that comes with that charge, then you'll understand that how people behave. This is why the more you charge your body, the more pleasant you become, the less fearful you become, the less violent you become. You cannot measure a superiority of a person based on how destructive they are, how many countries they conquer. You see, you measure on what the person can do. That is what performance of a person is, what the person can do. You see, so if you are acting from a position of fear, you have scarcity in your mind, so you want to conquer and take other people's things. But once you increase your energy, you get to realize, no, man, I actually can self-sustain. So I do not need to take somebody else's things. You see, then at that point, you stop attacking other people. At some point, then you realize, no, man, I have so much energy, I can actually give other people some energy. Then you start to heal people, you see, because all these are just different levels of a person's charge. So the person behaves based on their charge. So if you influence a person's behavior, you influence their charge. As much as the charge is based as much as the charge influences the behavior. If I can influence your behavior, then I can influence your charge.
Yeah.
You see? So that is what media does. It influences people's behavior towards things. For instance, our children watch cartoons that talk about pizza as a natural diet, which is unhealthy. How much energy does that give you? Because our science, we are not taking from our own science. We are now relying on science, like Western science, to define our own lifestyles. You see, and we do not understand that we have a science of our own, which is at a much purer level. Hence, it is not it's not easy to define it using the same model, the same Western science, because it does not consider spirituality. It cannot see beyond this particular this particular realm. So that is what I talk about when I talk about media and the influence it has. It has a huge influence. So whoever controls the media then can control people's moods. They can control the entire nation because a general mood that when people have a particular energy, they will influence other people in the same, because that energy will want to balance. You see, so if you influence a group of people, you are influencing the entire nation to feel in a particular manner. You see, that is the problem that we have, and our media is not being controlled with that in mind. It is just there because it's for entertainment. But do we understand the effect it has on our society itself? You see, we don't understand that, because we do not understand what colors, for instance, do. Because a color is a particular type of energy as well. It has an effect on you. You see, that's hence people who light different candles when they pray at different times for different effects. You see, if we do not understand all those things, then our children are affected in ways that we do not understand. And to be me only that understands that does not give me enough energy to be able to change that. So everybody must know it. This is information, and this is not information.
Exactly.
It is not my information. It is not my brilliance. It is simply the ability to tap into your own brain, because the one of the biggest questions that we get from different cultures is that, where do you get your research? Has this been peer reviewed? You see, the problem is that, for instance, in history, we do not need to research history. We can ask the people that were there directly. That is how we do our things. You see, you get somebody that can vibrate, that knows how to converse with people of a higher vibration. That is what the traditional healers do. They are able to bridge the gap between this vibration and the next vibration.
Yeah.
And hence, they take instructions then from those people that have traveled this world and know more than we do. Because each and everything that you have taken from them. You see. So our traditional healers then tap into that particular space and speak to those guys. So we don't have to go and look at a piece of stone and try to guess. You see, we can ask those people that were there at the time if we choose to do so. You see, that is why we do not have we do not have books. It's not about oral tradition that we must and then things get lost. No, we can simply. This is what they don't understand about like hypnosis, for instance. When you hypnotize a person, you get to access because each and every cell has a combination of all the experiences of all the ancestors that come with it. So what then happens is that when they access a particular part of you, they can access any person that is part that created that genealogy.
Whoa.
And that person will tell it like he lived it, because he's part of you. That is why when you say, when I say Loyiso Zulu, all those are people that are in me, because every experience that they have experienced comes with the birth process, the sperm that each and every cell gets that. The reproduction process gives you everything that your ancestors have. So you are able to tap into that. So when you there's a lot of misinterpretations of natural behavior that create misconceptions in our society, which then cause us to be in a stagnant, to be stagnant and not be able to heal certain things that are easy to heal. You understand? So we need to then purify our own our own way of life. We need to remember who we are and apply Isintu, a service to others. I mean, can you imagine if my happiness is your happiness and your happiness is my happiness? We would never quarrel. You see, because for me to be happy, you must be happy, and for you to be happy, I must be happy. You understand? But also, that type of behavior comes when you get to a particular level of spirituality. Hence, now, because of the energy that we've been using to replenish ourselves, the food that we eat, the artificial food that we eat, the artificial energy that we use, we have then reduced our own energy, and we are now at a very low level of charge, and we get sick quicker. We
fight a lot.
yes,
Lots of conflict.
and we have diseases that are called incurable. When in indigenous culture they are curable. I mean, you have people, a person with depression. We say this person has depression, so they must have pills to stop that. And if you understand that the mind itself is sitting with other beings that vibrate at a different level, then you'll understand that any voice that the person hears is a voice that comes from that particular group. So as a result, for you to heal that person, find out why that person is at that vibration, why that person, why that thing is in his space to start with. So by removing whatever is infecting the mind, you heal you heal mental illnesses like depression. You understand? So we need to tap into that, so that we're able to heal ourselves, we're able to heal our people, we're able to move to a level of higher energy. Because if we move to that point, automatically our normal changes at a much higher level of vibration. For instance, flying would be normal, and a person who's not able to fly would be a cripple. You understand?
Unbelievable.
But it all depends how much energy you give. We have a DNA that is called junk DNA in our bodies, which is DNA that is sitting there waiting for a charge to be able to do what it's supposed to do. But it can't do what it's supposed to do because there is not sufficient charge for the body to for it to work. The phone is on what do they call it? On battery saving mode. It only applies certain apps.
My gosh.
Only those apps can. Now, if you increase the charge, then you start to open other apps. You start to see other things. You start to think in a different manner. You understand? Because now you have given the body the charge that it requires. But if the charge that you give the body actually lowers the battery, then you are closing more and more apps.
My
So the body then is not able to function at its full capacity because it does not have the charge that it needs to have. You see, because we are using a smaller charger for it. It does not give it enough charge.
Yeah.
You see.
So let's go back to the book. How are people able to get hold of the book?
Okay. People can call me on my number to order a book. I sell hard copies. I've posted the book also on Amazon for people who want to buy the digital copies or any other people that are outside of, because
Nice.
B2B is outside of it. Yeah. So, but it's easier for people to just send a WhatsApp and request a copy. Then they can pay and then to receive the book.
Okay, so it's Bantu Holy Scripture.
Bantu Holy Scripture, yes. Bantu
And
Holy
I
Scripture.
see you've even got like a community. We've got a little bit of time left, but I see. Tell me about this community.
Okay, I've got a few people that a group that we have where we discuss spiritual matters, but it's people that have read the book because you need to be when you have a discussion, you want people to have a particular base of discussion. Then we're able to see the issue is that information keeps coming. What is in the book was what was there at that particular time. Now, as time goes, information as information gets to people, more information comes in.
Yes.
So I need an outlet as well
Yes.
with people that will be able to understand the information that because
Yes.
any information that you receive, you must be able to process. You must have the base knowledge to process it. So that is the group that we have, where we discuss topics that otherwise people would think, no, this is not plausible, because they do not understand the science behind Isintu. You know, it's the wonder about the book is it allows you to understand what you do. Even if you are a Christian, even if you are, but you get to understand what that means, what you are doing. You see, I mean, people that pray through Hinduism can heal people. People can pray. Christians can heal people. Muslims can heal people. The operative the common factor is the person. So by projecting your energy into something else, you allow that to heal the person. You are creating a focal point for your energy so that you can be able to do what you need to do with that energy. You see, so once you get to understand how the science is seen, now as umuntu, you get to be proud of yourself because you get to realize that when you throw salt around, you're not just yes, you are creating an electrolyte, because even the soil is also can conduct electricity. So when when you sprinkle the salt, it also creates the same electrolyte because it conducts electricity. So it's not something that you're just doing. So you know that you are speaking from you are working from a position of higher of purity, of deeper purity. You see, there's so much. Once you get to understand that particular part, then you get to have your own interpretation. You see, you get to have your own way of thinking. You understand? And mostly, I would have loved for even the younger people to get to understand themselves at a younger age. So if older people can be able to support their young kids and give them the book, because once a child understands that the cause and effect of what they do, it does not mean that when you say salt is an electrolyte and when you throw it, it does this. It does not mean you must do it or you must not do it. It just tells you the cause and effect.
Yeah. And what happens when you do that?
Where now, if you want to do it or don't want to do it, it's up to you. But you have given the person the opportunity to be able to have an informed decision. You understand? Because information can be used depending on the level of information that you have. You can be able to change a person's decision to behave in a different manner. For instance, let's look at something like the flu, for instance. If you say the flu is caused by a virus, it tells you that you then need an antivirus, something to kill the germ that is in there. But if you understand that the infection life cycle does not start at that point, it starts with the food that you eat and the accumulation of mucus in your body. So when you have an over accumulation of mucus in your body, you have space for the bacteria or the germs to actually sit.
Yes.
Without the mucus, then there is no space for anything to sit. Hence, when you cleanse yourself, you don't become sick. Now, if you eat certain food, you have an over accumulation of mucus in your sinuses, the different holes in your body. Now, when you get into a cold environment, the mucus that is sitting there starts to solidify. And when it solidifies, the body is not able to utilize it. It blocks the functioning of the body. Now, ordinarily, the body is able to fix that. But because you have an over-accumulation of mucus because of the food that you eat, then the body has a particular burden to do that, to do that. So what it then does is it will increase your temperature to liquefy the mucus. And then you have the mucus coming out of your nose. That's where the nose drip comes from. So it's a natural process for the body to work. So if you work with the body by increasing your own temperature, food, you are then that's why you heal quicker. If when you do it like that. So you don't need to vaccinate against a natural. So if you use things like antihistamines, the things that block the mucus from coming out, then they block and then they create stagnancy here, and that's where you get now sickness because now you have stagnant mucus sitting there, and all the germs are able to have nutrition and grow there, and it creates also type of. So the information now gives you a different way of approaching the same sickness because now you have purer information. It tells that you get a better effect, a quicker effect than that.
Thank you so much, Loyiso. Thank you. We definitely will be getting the book. I'll leave your contact details there so that that's sorted out. Thank you, Moya Wrights. That's the end of another fabulous episode. I'll obviously leave all the details for you to be able to order the book directly from the author. Remember, we're here to support you. Reach out to us, email us. Please like, share, and subscribe. The bank details are on screen right now, so please continue to support us. And thank you to everybody who is contributing. We do see you and see you next time.
Who are you when all you were has been diluted by lies and white lines cancelling out all that which has been written of your history? Why do you look at yourself as a mystery? Doesn't the sun shine because you open your eyes? Doesn't the moon stay situated within the same stars your DNA sparkles off? Your spirit knows that surely corner into e off. Buza umoya so you may return to being well off. Because spiritually you are rich, yet your ancestors cry because you are out of reach. But yours is to command all elements while God takes inspiration from the very mirror she looked at to become. Remember who you are and never finish just when they think that with you they are done.